of incentives to build new homes.
Snow, sleet, and freezing rain not only affecting us for the Wednesday drive home, but all the way through Thursday as well. The latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And Ukraine declares a state of emergency as Russian troops move in.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Hundreds of flights are canceled today in Dallas, while parts of Oklahoma, Missouri, and Arkansas brace for an ice storm as wintry weather makes its way into the southern plains. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Now, here in the 4 states, we're seeing a little bit of everything. Michael Hayslip joins us.
Tanya, I tell you what, not only a little bit of everything, but let's harken back to when you and I started the KOAM Morning News. We were watching this system just begin to develop on the south side of the Red River.
Right.
And like that thing took off right through the Sooner State and is now squarely upon the 4 states. Let's go to the Skywatch Storm Tracker, where we are going to spend a lot of our time talking about travel conditions. Live look at I-44. This is mile marker 6 that we're looking at right now. We've seen conditions continue to deteriorate, especially when we talk about moving up the interstate toward portions of Springfield. As we transition to the Skywatch Storm Tracker, we see the snow along with the sleet beginning to actually get a little traction, some northern legs as well as it makes its way into our far northern counties. But we're going to concentrate along I-44 and down to the southeast where it rolled in, where we still see pockets of the sleet and the freezing rain persisting. The sweeping radar showing us the intensity that we're getting right now, right from Cherokee County into portions of Jasper and Newton County. Let's kind of zoom in again. Let's go up to the Fidelity exit right there at 49 and 44, the 49 north exit. And once again, if we were to go back half an hour ago, there was hardly anything even on the ground. So be very, very wary. As a matter of fact, if you don't have to get out and about tonight, that's probably the best thing to do, because not only are the roads just that bad, but also too, why go out when it's this cold? We've got temperatures right now in between, say, 11 and 18 degrees. Nobody even sitting at 20 here at the noon hour. And even if we do 20, 21, still going to have wind chills that are going to be about 8, 9 degrees. Now, this is wave 1. Believe it or not, we've got another wave. Get a little intermittent break for the evening, but remember, certainly not warm enough to melt anything off. And then Thursday morning, here we go. We reload. Almost the same direction as it works in from the southwest, moves off to the northeast. We'll finally be done with this thing later Thursday afternoon. But here is the key aspect of the 7-day forecast. Where does it go and when does it go? We actually don't get up around the 50s until we get to Sunday, Tanya. So even though it ends Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, Friday morning, we're still going to run into slick spots.
All right, well, there's a lot going on out there.
A lot going on. The road conditions, every time we update them, are getting worse. Tell you what, I'm going to come back here in a little bit. We're going to talk about what roads are completely covered, what's the best places to avoid.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you, Michael. Incentives are on the way for new home developers in Joplin. On Tuesday, the Joplin City Council passed the Housing Revitalization Plan. Under the plan, incentives based on the value of a home will be awarded if the new home replaces an existing single-family home and complements the existing neighborhood. A budget of $1 million is set aside for the project. It's paid for by the current use tax. Officials hope the plan will encourage more people to build new homes in Joplin.
This is what we wanted. I mean, we want our city to move forward, and we want these areas, our neighborhoods, to improve, and this was a huge step forward. So we want to thank the citizens for passing the use tax ultimately.
Council also received an update on the development of a new fire station. It's being built at 6720 East 30th Street. Bidding for the project is scheduled for April. Well, the crews working on the historic Olivia building in downtown Joplin are preparing to take on another landmark, the former YMCA building. KOAM's Chris Warner met with the developer about their plans for the building.
The old YMCA building in downtown is currently dark, empty, quiet, a shadow of its former self. But that's about to change as developer Blue Haven Homes gets ready to breathe new life into the facility.
We are going to be turning it into apartments on floors 2 through 5 with some commercial space in the lobby.
Sawyer Smith is the Director of Business Development with Blue Haven Homes. He took time to show us around the building as it stands right now. There's still signs inside that it once was the YMCA, and that history is important to the overall plans.
The big one is we want to keep the YMCA feel, so we're going to be keeping the pool in the basement and really trying to transform a lot of the basement area into a gym and keep that activity focus of what the YMCA used to be for so many people around Joplin.
While this building isn't in the same shape the Olivia building was, there are still some challenges.
Is going to be taking a building that was not designed as apartments and turning it into apartments. But we're working with some really great architecture firms here locally in Joplin. And then Neal Group Construction is the developer on this project who's doing the Olivia building. So we're really confident in their abilities to sort out whatever they need to sort out to make this project a success.
Smith says they recently got a historic designation for the building, opening the doors for some help on the project.
There's a few different financing things that come into play that being a historic building makes it much easier to follow through.
In addition to the 45 apartment units, there's plans for other community spaces.
We'd love to put a deli, coffee shop type area in there for all the tenants above, and just a quick lunch pickup for people in the downtown area.
Smith says this project, combined with the Olivia, should benefit people beyond the residents.
So we really hope that that adds to some really cool dynamics within the downtown area.
In downtown Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Well, Smith says they are still very early in the planning stages, so an opening date is still too early to set. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, the drumbeat of war is getting louder in Europe, with Russian forces poised to launch an all-out offensive on Ukraine. And later, we're making the best broccoli salad in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Ukraine announces a state of emergency and is mobilizing its National Guard in response to the threat from Russia. The U.S. says Russia continues to send forces into rebel-held areas of eastern Ukraine. And satellite images show the Russian buildup along Ukraine's borders growing, including field hospitals being set up. President Biden announced the first set of sanctions against Russia, targeting 2 large Russian banks with ties to the military and cutting off the country from Western financing. Those sanctions will also have an impact on Americans, especially at the gas pump. Fuel prices are already on the rise, reaching 7-year highs. Russia accounts for about 12% of the global supply of oil and 17% of natural gas supplies. Well, a town in Ukraine has a new name, but residents of New York say there's little hope it will keep them safe as Russian forces draw closer. CBS's Tina Kraus takes us to New York, Ukraine for the story.
The town of New York in eastern Ukraine sits on the front line of the conflict with Russia. Its skyline is scarred by war. The only tourist attraction, an exhibit honoring Ukrainian soldiers fighting Russia-backed rebels. Perhaps the only thing the town shares with America's biggest city is the name.
Мы думаем, что они как раз боятся бомбить Нью-Йорк.
We tell ourselves the Russians would be too afraid to bomb New York, resident Tetiana Krasko says with a bitter laugh. But it's too late. We're already hearing shelling. Around 12,000 Ukrainians call this New York home, and they've seen the conflict up close for the past 8 years. 16-year-old Sergei says, I'm not sure if it makes sense to stay here any longer. I don't know how long the war will last. New York isn't far from Donetsk, one of the separatist regions President Vladimir Putin recognized as independent before ordering his forces in this week. Mother Ella Pylapenko worries what will happen next. She says living here is difficult with the threat of bombings, but we just live and hope for the best, echoing the kind of resilience often heard from New Yorkers. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
Well, young Ukrainians in New York won a political battle last year, switching the town's name back to New York after Soviets changed it in 1951, believing it was a sign of capitalism. Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
If you have a few people at home who are hesitant about eating their veggies, what we're making today might be just what you need. And as for veggie lovers, they're going to love it too.
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
Started off as quiet and cold this morning, going to be anything but quiet for the duration of our Wednesday into Thursday as the Skywatch Storm Tracker dominated not only by the snow, but perhaps more importantly, the freezing rain and the sleet. We're going to concentrate a lot on travel conditions for the rest of our day. Let's take a live look down at the Bella Vista interchange in northwest Arkansas. I wanted to start with this because it does give you an idea kind of from the 50,000 foot view about the amount of snow and the snail's pace that everybody is moving at right now. As we transition into our other states, let's take a live look at I-44. This is mile marker, what is this, 6, Tim? Mile marker number 6, where really if you go back about 45 minutes ago, it was clear as can be. And now we're starting to see the access roads, the entrances, the exits right there really begin to pile up. And remember, with the freezing rain being what it is, just because you go, oh, that looks clear, no, those are going to be just about as slick as you can get. Let's jump back to the old Skywatch Storm Tracker and take it full, because we've got a couple other states that we need to conquer as well. What we're going to do is jump over here to the MoDOT page, because I want to point out the amount of purple that is now dominating our major thoroughfares, whether that be 44, 49, 59, everything turning up in the purple. And just a quick refresher of the legend, that means that those are completely covered highways, completely covered. Now, as we jump into Kansas, the reports there, well, they keep piling up as well. As a matter of fact, we've got some storm reports coming out of Kansas. We'll remove the satellite layer here to give you a better idea. Let's focus in here on 69 with the roadway completely covered with snow and ice also too. 400 now popping up as part of the one that's completely covered, and go ahead and throw US 59 as completely covered. Once again, best thing to do perhaps is to try to stay off the roads, and this gives you an idea of what we've got at the Kansas Crossing Casino right there, where we have seen a transition over into snow for the most part. One more state to conquer. Let's run down to Oklahoma, because what we've got down there, well, they're trying to tell everybody that the driving conditions are considered severe. So this is from the Oklahoma Department of Transportation, where 44, 69 alternate, 69, and also 58. See that orange right there? That is the Highway Patrol urging you to stay off those thoroughfares if you can somehow avoid it. Now, as far as our storm reports go, here at the noon hour, we've already got 1/10 of an inch of accumulation right there coming out of Jasper County in Joplin. Remember, it's going to come down throughout the afternoon and evening hours. That number is going to easily grow to around 2/10 of an inch. And now we've got snow reports coming out of southeast Kansas as well. Labette County in Parsons, 1.1 inches of snow. And as we saw there from our tower cam at Kansas Crossing, which, you know, about right there, now that we've seen that transition into snow, we'll approach that 2-inch mark here by the end of the afternoon. Extremely bitter cold as well. Watch exposed skin, especially for the little ones. Take care of them. No, plenty of people still had school today, and if you're going to have it tomorrow, look at this. Wind chills not going to get much better as we're sitting single digits right now. Our weather trend can be deceiving, because even though you see those 20s up there, well, let's just remember that this is round one of a multi-round affair, and that's why the winter weather advisory, look at that expiration time. That doesn't end until 9 o'clock tomorrow night. Look at that winter storm warning. That's indicated in pink, 9 o'clock tomorrow night. So here's what we're going to see. It looks like a little intermittent break. You think you're done with it? Not. We reload for Thursday morning, work in from the southwest, move to the northeast. More importantly, look at the amount of pink indicating the freezing precipitation that is still to come until finally we begin to clear off late Thursday afternoon into the evening hours. After that, Tanya, yeah, we get to take a break. Still want everybody on their toes travel-wise. We are certainly going to see slick spots with the temperatures remaining below freezing into the weekend. 50 light at the end of the tunnel. Sunday, Monday 56. First day of March, 64.
Hey, we'll take it.
There you go. Want to finish on a positive.
Right. Yeah. Sounds good. We can make it through this. Just be safe.
We got her.
Thanks, Michael. We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero, Specialist 5th Class Gregory Hardy in the U.S. Army. The soldier from Liberal, Missouri, joined the 703rd Maintenance Battalion in 1966. He was stationed in Germany until 1969. To Specialist Gregory Hardy, we thank you, our 4-state hero. Doesn't mean you can't have a fresh, colorful dish at the table. Howard shows us how to make the best broccoli salad in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Just because we're smack dab in the middle of winter doesn't mean we only have to eat soups and stews. So in order to bring you a taste of summer, I thought it'd be fun if I'd share one of my favorite go with anything salads that always earns rave reviews. So if you're ready, I say we get going. The first thing we want to do is combine some mayo, sour cream, and a bit of sugar. After giving this a quick mix, we set it aside. Next, we cut some broccoli and cauliflower into florets. The key here is to make them all uniform in size. To this, we add some chopped red onion, a bunch of shredded cheddar cheese, and some crumbled bacon. Now, all that's left to do is toss our dressing with this and pop it in the fridge. And whether you serve this with your favorite sandwich or as a side dish with Mom's meatloaf, you can't miss. You could even add some raisins or pine nuts if you'd like. To get the recipe for what we call our best broccoli salad, so you can add it to your lineup, simply visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen with Kelly, where today we found a fresh change of pace way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Well, you can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
Quickly as our roads have deteriorated, best bet is to try to stay indoors today. As everything pushes off, remember this is round one. We got round two coming late tonight into Thursday morning, and more frigid cold temps to finish off not only the week, almost the month of February. We'll get a little rebound Sunday and Monday. Everybody just be safe out there for tonight into tomorrow morning.
All right, well, coming up tonight at 5, we'll have your latest weather forecast and road conditions. Plus, several school districts across the 4 states decided to cancel or go virtual today. But how do school officials make that decision? We speak with 2 districts about the factors they look at to determine whether to have school or not. And the latest report shows rent prices are up nearly 20% nationwide. We look at which parts of the country are seeing the biggest jump and what's behind the price hikes. Join us for those stories and much more tonight on the KOAM News at 5.
I want to thank you all for joining us here on the KOAM News at Noon. Tanya and I will see you again tomorrow morning.
And the rest of the team will see you right back here at 5 o'clock.